Most people think that moving to Singapore starts with packing your bags and finding an apartment, but no, the real journey starts months earlier before you even land here. I moved to Singapore 6 years ago as a French expat, and it took me already 5 months to find the internship that opened the door for me. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to move to Singapore step by step, the things that no one explained and what you need to know before starting. Hi, welcome to a new video. If you are new here, my name is Amandine. I've been living in Singapore for 6 years now, and I like to share about anything that's happening in Singapore. Today we are going to see that Singapore is one of the most immigration friendly countries, but there is a system, and once you understand it, it will become so much easier. Let's start with the job search. The very first real step to moving to Singapore is securing a job or an internship before you move here, because Singapore is not like other countries. You cannot just move here first and then look for a job after. In Singapore, the employer is required to sponsor your visa, so you need first an offer before you can legally move here. To look for a job, the platform that I recommend is LinkedIn. That's how I found my internship that allowed me to move to Singapore the first time. It's the most active platform for foreigners. The companies directly post their listing there. Usually it's pretty clear what's open for foreigner and what's not. You can also look on the company website, but that will take more time. I would recommend also contacting some hiring manager if you get some contacts. But you have to know that the timeline is not instant. You have to be ready for a few months of applying and interviewing. Singapore's company tends to be very fast once you are shortlisted, but it can take a while to even land an interview, and that's completely normal. All the interview process can be done remotely, and it's very frequent to be hired before even setting a foot in Singapore. It's better to be flexible. Some companies might ask you to relocate quickly once you have an offer, so be mentally prepared for the fast turnaround once things click. Once you secure a job offer, your employer will handle the visa application for you, and that's when the move becomes more concrete. So let's talk about visas, because that's where most people get confused at first. The good thing is that in Singapore, you don't need to apply for your own visa. Your employer is going to apply on your behalf, unless it's an internship. In that case, you will have to apply for a work holiday visa on the MOM platform. This is for students and graduates that want to get a quick experience in Singapore. It's only for 6 months, but it's often the first door to the country. Then there is expat, which is more for mid-level roles. There is a minimum salary requirement, and it's more common in industries like hospitality, retail, logistics, engineering, and for some junior tech roles. Otherwise, you have the employment pass, also called EP. This is the more professional visa. It comes with higher salary requirements and also with more responsibilities. I have a dedicated video on work passes if you want more information about the process. But basically, for those, once the employer submits the application, the average processing time is a month. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower. It depends on the industry and the background checks. Once your visa is approved, you receive something called IPA letter, which is basically your permission to enter and start working in Singapore. Make sure you bring it, print it when you arrive in Singapore, and after simple admin steps, you will be able to collect your physical work pass card. So congratulations, you have a job, you have a visa, you can start to look for a place to live. And here's the thing, in Singapore, the rental market moves very fast. When you find something you like, you have to decide within a few days. The main website I recommend is Property Guru. He has listing for both rooms and full apartments. But if you are looking to rent just a room, you are open to flat sharing, I would recommend Facebook groups. That's where a lot of locals and expats are posting about available room to rent, and you can avoid agency fee. You can speak to them directly, so you know who you are going to live with. It's also faster and more informal than going through a full property listing. That's how I got my room the first time, and now that we are renting one of our rooms here, I also post the listing on Facebook directly. If you are renting a full apartment, you don't actually need an agent in Singapore. You can contact the landlord directly or the landlord agent directly, but it's quite common to get one at least for the first time because they make the process faster and they can help you with the paperwork. So if you are new to Singapore, you might be missing out on something that they wouldn't, but you do have to pay them 1 month's rent for their service. Another totally valid option is to stay first in an hotel or service apartment, especially if your company is covering the accommodation, because hotels are quite expensive in Singapore, but it gives you some time to go explore Singapore, find a neighborhood that you like before signing a long-term lease. But if you're still overseas, it's totally fine to do video viewings. Make sure you ask the agent to show you the condition of the wall, of the aircon, of the furniture. Don't do only based on photos because you never know when those have been taken. And yes, there are scams even in Singapore. Once you found the one you want, things move pretty quickly. The usual order is first you submit a letter of intent, basically saying I want this apartment, and you pay a small deposit. Then the landlord sign, you move to the tenancy agreement, which is the actual contract. Then you pay the remaining deposit, usually about 1 to 2 months rent, and that's it. Everything can be completed in about 2 weeks time. One thing that surprised a lot of newcomers is the cost and the size. Singapore rentals are really expensive for what you get, especially near the city, but the trade-off is convenience. Here we live in Outram. It's really central. It's connected to 3 MRT lines, but we pay $4,000 for not even 50 square meters. That's how it is. At this point, the hardest part is done. You've secured the job, you've sorted your visa, you've found a place to live. The actual move, honestly, that's the easiest part. Just if you are bringing a lot of furniture or personal items, consider shipping, but for most people, 1 suitcase, 2 suitcases is more than enough. So just book your tickets and you're off. Once you land, it's all about getting set up in your new home. Things like bank account, phone, internet, utilities. Let's go over that. Singpass is your key to almost everything in Singapore. It's your digital ID. You can apply online, but you will have to verify your identity at a Singpass counter once you arrive. Do it first if possible because other services might require it. Opening a bank account is next. Most banks will require your passport, your visa, a proof of address, and maybe your employment letter. If you can, set up your bank online first so that your in-person visit will be quicker. I personally went to DBS the first time. I got a DBS multiplier account, which is great for expats. But now I also have a UOB account. You can just choose one first, and then if you need more credit card or debit card, you will see later. Once your account is active, you can also set up PayNow, which is the most common way to transfer money or pay at shops in Singapore. For your phone, there are 2 main options, which is prepaid and postpaid. Prepaid is great if you just arrived in Singapore and you need a number immediately. You can get one at Changi Airport directly. But postpaid plans are better if you're staying in the long term. Personally, I use Giga, which is cheap. I get plenty of data and the coverage is great. Next, for your home internet, if it's not already provided, Singapore has a lot of options. We went with Simba because it's also cheap and is fast enough for things like working from home and streaming. Most providers will help you schedule an installation once you have a confirmed address. Electricity, water and gas is usually straightforward. The way to go is SP Group, which combines everything. This is much more practical than managing separate accounts. Once you set it up, you don't have to worry about anything. Everything is in one bill and it's easily trackable online. You do have to pay a $500 deposit when you first open the account though. And that's it. That's the full roadmap that I follow when I move to Singapore. Moving to a new country is overwhelming, but if you follow this step, hopefully it will become much more manageable. And Once you are here, you will realize that it was worth every bit of effort. If you are planning to move to Singapore, leave a comment with your timeline or your question. I love to know where you're at in your journey. And if you want more detailed guides on visas, apartment or expat life in Singapore, let me know by subscribing so you don't miss the next videos. I'm trying to do more YouTube videos so the content is longer instead of just 1 minute on TikTok or Instagram. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in Singapore. Bye bye.